Hi folks, thanks for joining me again. I'm Stephen Crone. This is another watercolour demonstration, and today got a simple little winter scene for you. I've just used the 4 colours. I'll show you the colours in a sec. So we got ultramarine, alizarin crimson, raw sienna and burnt umber. The brushes, most of it as always done with a large one Ransonite, and I've just got a couple of riggers down here, a size 0 and a number 3. So before we start, just quickly show you my new book, Painting Loose Landscapes in Watercolour by myself. So I've checked today, this is actually available now on in the UK. Not just yet in the US for some reason. I don't know why that is. But lots of step-by-step guides there to guide you through each painting. Just took a series of photographs to show you through the paint from start to finish. Try to make it as simple as I possibly could. So that's available. You'll see the link. That's available on Amazon. Currently in the UK. Very, very quickly to come to the US. You'll see the link in the description if you want to take a look at that. Right, so I want to get a sort of nice crimson-y, pinky type of sky. So I'm going to use alizarin crimson and raw sienna for these. Something like that. I'm going to bring that down, a bit touch more water. It's got a little ultramarine to it. Push that in as well. And I'm going to bring that down to the horizon line, which is going to be somewhere like that. So we got. No quick spray, it's too dry. Just soften it all off a little bit, so it's just blending in. And it's going to come that side, something like so. And then something like that. That's too dry as well. Push that across there. Tissue. I'm going to switch to a number 3 rigger now and just put in a few little trees and things. Same 3 colours. I'll put in all the limbs first and then come back in a minute and put the foliage and stuff on. So I'm just flicking it around, just trying to get random shapes and things going. Try not to get too big because then I'll lose the scale of the thing. Trying to keep them as small as I can, but it's so tempting to get too mad and put them in too big. So a few more, and as the paper starts to dry, it'll go on stronger and stronger. So just mixing the same 3 colours. And same colours again. This time I'm just going to use the corner of the brush just to suggest a little bit of foliage. Not too much, but just enough to give the impression of something there. Try and do them at different heights as well. You don't want them all the same size, nice and parallel and unnatural looking. So that's our sort of background. I've done it all the same colour as the sky, so I'll push it right back, get some depth. So what I'll do now is just make sure this is flat against the piece of plywood I got it fixed to. I'm just going to put a few little, what I'm actually looking for, a lot of bits of water that are dripping down. I'll soak them up, it'll sort of double up as clouds. Just make it look as if I did it on purpose. Right, now we're coming down closer down into the middle ground now, so I'm going to introduce a bit of burnt umber into everything now. Just make it a little bit darker. Too wet, I want it a bit drier than that. So just scuff it up a little bit. So I just wanted the hairs to separate a bit more than what they were doing, so I can get those separate strokes. On this side. I'm mixing pretty much everything I've done so far, all the colours, and then bashing the big trunk. Well, I'm just going to pop another one in now. You can do this with a rigger if you want. It's obviously a lot quicker with the hake brush. I'm just making sure, so I quite like that though, I'm just making sure I don't paint over anything I like. This one's a little bit thinner. Just continue that up there. Make it a little bit wide at the bottom. Pop that a little bit darker and that. Right, back to the rigger brush. Number 3 rigger this is. Dark mix. Now this one, this one's further away. I'd have done this one first, but I got a bit carried away. It needs to be a little bit smaller than that one. Let's put that in as well. Using the corner of the hake brush. I generally find the more I think about it, the worse it gets. I try to just paint instinctively. I'm going to stick some posts in. So I'm going to continue the post with a card in this dark section. Look, just scrape it down, simple, odd cross piece. Not always, not everything's just, it's trying to get it to so it looks as if it's falling apart. Always look a bit more charismatic when it's falling to bits. Let's clean that brush. I'm just going to give just a slight impression of a path, something like that. Look to pop in just a few, that's a total mess, just a few little random lines here and there. It's quite nice, I quite like the way that, let's just try that, whoops. Actually no, that's, right, that's enough faffing in the foreground. What I'm going to do now is big foreground shadow, I think, but it needs to be dry first. And before that, it needs to be flat. If you're using thicker paper, you won't have to keep doing this. This is £130, so it's on the thinner side. About 140 is about average, I think. So I'm going to mix a shadow colour, so I'm just going to take a bit of everything really. Bit of everything, and then mix out something like that. Not too strong because you want to see the painting underneath. And then just quick dry. Going into that same mix, I'm just going to pull a little shadow off each of these posts. I think I need a little figure, I think. I'm just going to little man sort of trudging up the hill. It's a massive, it's like a mighty effort. I've put in the wrong side of the fence, trying to put him behind the fence, and then little dog there. birds up in the sky. And then I'm going to call that one, done. I'm just going to sign that down there. Let's call that one finished. So I'm just going to stick a mount on that now and see what it looks like. There's our finished painting the mount. So we're going to have a closer look at it. So the sky, always start with the sky. You can see it was basically raw sienna, alizarin crimson, a little bit of ultramarine in there as well for the slightly darker bits, and then use that same sky colour down at the base, putting in the trees. That helps push it right back into the distance. Also, you can see how it now, see the difference here. You see the background colours using the same sky, those trees, contrasting against the closer ones, much darker. See that sense of depth. I also re-wet it 2 or 3 times just so that it did stay wet. It helped to soften it off and sort of lose the focus of it. Again, helping it push right back, contrasting against these big foreground trunks. Put in with the hake and then rig a brush for the twigs and branches. So when I put them in the dark, you can see where I've just left painted white paper just to represent the snow. Same on the other side. Again, put in nice and dark to contrast against the background. You can see where I've scraped in the fence posts. See on the right, you can see, started off by putting some in with the rigger brush and then scraped a few in as well, using the plastic card. I think when I looked at it from a distance, the first thing that struck me was there's a bit of confusion here with the shadow and the path. I should have made them a bit more distinctive, maybe make the path a bit more distinctive, or maybe even continued the shadow all the way across, might look better. At the moment it's sort of merging into one. It's a little bit confusing. But as it is now, the path, it sort of sweeps its way around. Always like to sort of sweep the paths in to our little man trudging up the hill with his dog. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks as always for watching, for your support, especially over at patreon.com/Stephen Cronin. All the patrons over there, do join me if you get a chance. So until next time, if you've got any questions, please ask. Keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.